Vanessa Marshall, a lot of people don't realize when you're doing voiceover, it's so physical,
Yes, it is.
right? So I figured that as we prepared just to talk to each other, could you take me through, like, how do you get physically in a role, especially like Hera Syndulla, right? Is there something that you do?
Well, I like to
Probably not what I'm doing, but like,
perhaps similar. I am a martial artist, and I like to
Nice.
box before I go do a job. So
Awesome.
when you beat a bag for an hour and then you go in, words are not a problem.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, I like to exercise and look at my script and get the words in my body. But also, I find that if I physicalize things prior, my blood is all ready to circulate and go directly to my brain, and that tends to give me a lot more confidence.
Well, right, and it comes through in your voice.
Ah, cool.
And it's a whole part of it. And do you ever like walk into a VO booth just like in your sweatpants? Like if they're not filming something for an EPK, like are you super comfortable?
I tend to not do that, but there are folks who do. I think there's
You're like those heathens. I dress up.
No, I don't dress up, but I feel like you're reading English out loud. The least you could do is dress properly.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're the
Put some
luckiest
respect
person
on these characters' names.
I'm just saying, like it's your first language, and you're just saying it out loud. Like you could put some pants on. Like,
Yeah.
No offense, but I mean, I'm not insulting anyone who doesn't like to wear pants to work. But I mean, the pandemic made it very difficult to put them back on again.
It did. It kind of changed a lot of things for
Yeah.
us, and especially in the world of voiceover too.
Yes, we were acting at home in our pajamas. At that point, it was like, well, what are you going to do?
Would you say that auditioning for you has changed because so much of that used to be in the room and now it kind of isn't?
No, there's no room. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all at home. Everyone has home studios, and we just kind of throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and hope for the best. And sometimes you book it, sometimes you don't.
Right.
But it is a little bit more of an isolated process than it once was. I used to love going to auditions and seeing my friends, even if just for 5 minutes to connect.
Because you're kind of making the rounds and you're seeing people you're familiar with, and it's, even though it's a big town, it's still a small town.
Yeah. It is a small town, but we're home all the time.
Right, exactly.
It's not healthy. I think we need to get out more.
Get out more. Get in the sunlight.
Yeah. Now if I book a job, I just did stuff for Castlevania, for Crapopolis, which is on Fox, and Tomb Raider or Lara Croft. And I said, oh no, I want to go into the studio, and I'm literally the only person there. Everyone else is on Zoom.
Oh,
What are you
okay.
gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
How big a nerd were you?
Prior to this,
Like when you were growing up, like was little Vanessa ever?
yeah, 100%.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think as an only child, it was just me, myself, and I. My friend used to say I'm a one-woman show and audience, right? I just would entertain myself for hours and hours.
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about.
See? Come on. We got this. Yeah. I remember at 10 years old, I was watching the movie All That Jazz over and over again, which is about Bob
My
Fosse's
God.
life, which is perhaps a bit morose for a 10-year-old to be pondering, but I found it hilarious. And if you start with the premise of what happens after we pass, I mean, at 10 years old, if you can confront those truths, I think you're going to be fine for the rest of your life. So, not that All That Jazz is a nerd trope, but it is a good story. And I was always in love with telling stories. I did stand-up comedy. I did improv. And I was a sculptor. I got into Princeton from sculpture. And
No kidding.
Yes, I was expressing myself not through words, but I would recontextualize garbage in different sculptures, and I would take garbage and turn it into art. And again, very precocious for a teen, right? But I always love questing for truth and meaning, and I found that in the theater, and I find that in comic books. I find it in graphic novels, and I absolutely find it here. And for me, the Star Wars saga just hit all the notes and ticked all the boxes. So
the entire scope of this world just shows how much richness and meaning it has.
Yes.
What's one of your favorite fan interactions that you've ever had?
Well, there was a woman I met, I think it was in Fairfax, Virginia, at a convention, and she said that she was diagnosed with cancer,
Mm.
And she started with episode 1 of Rebels, and it got her all the way through chemo. And
Wow.
she's been cancer-free for 4 years. And, you know, I hugged her for a really long time. It just, to me, stories can heal. And if I can facilitate any kind of storytelling, whether it's writing, producing, directing, or even voice acting, or sculpting, or anything that sort of brings us together as human beings having a sacred experience, that just meant the world to me that she shared that with me. I mean, Hera always says, we have hope that things will get better, and they will.
Right.
And when she told me that story, I felt that those words were never more true. So.
And in Andor this season, something that they said was, everyone has their own rebellion.
Yes.
And that really got me to thinking, and like a woman like that, it's like,
yes,
you gotta fight and you
Absolutely.
gotta hope.
Yeah.
And as we get out of here, I just wanted to know, like, what's next for you as a creator, because you're in live action, you're in voiceover, but what's on the horizon?
Well, what's interesting is I just started this new podcast. It's a 10-Year Rebels Rewatch podcast. And so that's something very directly that I'm doing. But I also, if you go to VanessaMarshall.com, you'll see I have a Twitch channel, and I game. I play the games that I voice with other actors in the game, and we raise money for different charities. And I want to bring that worldwide and host events to bring gamers closer to the people who voice the games and pay it forward. So
I love it.
That's one thing on the menu, but I don't think we have time for more. But thank you.
It's all about hope.
Yeah.